Fire, fire, fire. Kill it. Rasta music, Rasta music. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. S-I-N-Y. Yeah, man. Yes, sir.
Hello, hello. Welcome back, welcome back. Live that scene, your host, Jah Dreddz. We back with another banger. Please excuse the AMSR if you heard any of that. We got Alex Duncan in the house. Playwright, you know what I'm saying? Long overdue to get these plays and this stuff here, but we got something good for them today. We got In the Shadow of the Spider. We're going to present to them, but we also have my ambassador. Please introduce yourself, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Memphis, Qaduse, Rasta Music Records.
Right, right. So, you know, if they missed out before, you're in here with royalty, you now know, right? So, Alex,
Right.
please, what have you been up to from the last time that you've been here that maybe my viewers,
Well, I did write this story
right, that's good.
since that time.
Okay,
And this story came out of actually an experience that I had
right,
where I got one of those calls and he took me for a ride and it had disastrous results
right.
on my financial and psychic life. And this is the genesis of this story.
Right, and it's so crazy because I just was on a show with the cyber lady of Staten Island
Yeah.
concerning fraud and this type
Oh,
of
interesting.
right.
We should have her now.
Right, this type of stuff right here.
Yeah,
But if they're watching the channel or the app, they'll see the show come up.
Okay.
But just give us a little synopsis, and then we're going to jump right into it.
Okay, short synopsis. These are two guys. They meet in a desert cafe somewhere in Arizona. Not out in the Tules. It's probably near some city like Tucson or Phoenix or maybe Yuma. And they're on the patio. And one is waiting for the other. And they're very anxious to talk with each other about
Right.
fleecing somebody on the East Coast.
And when we say fleecing, we mean like conning, scamming.
Yeah, conning,
right.
taking the man's resources,
Right.
shrinking him down to nothing, and filling their pockets.
Right.
These are not, these are not people you trust.
Oh, okay. You won't want them as neighbors.
No,
Right.
no, you don't want them as neighbors.
Right.
And then there's a waitress, and she's getting what she can do. I
Right.
mean, they're all.
Another chip off the old block.
Oh
right
yeah,
there.
she's a chip off the block too.
Right.
Yeah, not to be trusted.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
So shall I start?
Yes, we shall.
So this is the opening. So this sets the scene.
Okay.
So we are living in a world of twisted wires, searching for a victim. Somewhere in the desert of Arizona, our story begins. There he is, sitting under an umbrella. He is sipping a margarita. Beside his margarita is a paper hat. You've seen such a hat. It looks like straw, but it isn't. Wrapped around the brim is a black cloth band with silver wraparound X's. This is Juan Davos, sometimes known as Mr. Larry or Stevos, and he is waiting for his longtime friend, associate is a better word, Tex. So he's sitting there waiting. He's sipping his margarita. The sun is hot and it's very dry in Arizona. And Tex enters, and Tex is also known as Mr. Tom or Mex. They've worked in concert for a lengthy period of time. They know each other well. Tex walks onto the patio, and Juan is already enjoying what he is going to tell Tex. He thinks this is a big joke. Anyway, so you had the first line down.
We are going to have fun. Tex.
Oh, glad to hear it.
He thinks I'm his friend.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, oh wow is right. It is definitely time for the games.
Games. Wonderful games.
He thinks I'm going to help him.
No.
Yes.
A sultry waitress walks in. You have to imagine this. And Carly, the sultry waitress, says, I'm sure that you're wanting refreshment. Ah, you know my mind. And more than that, yes, taste the margarita. Ooh, very sweet, just like you, Carly.
I hate to spoil this sweet moment, but if you could tear yourself away for a moment, Carly, I would like another margarita.
Of course, Juan. Anything you want. Just a little bite. Carly, come back. Oh, and let me take a little bite of you. Oh, sweetness, oh God.
Yeah, she's a lovely playmate for later. Right now, we need to talk business.
Of course, Maestro. I'm always here for you.
You're always here, but there's a profit.
Yeah, we know each other too well.
Not too well. No such thing. Just completely, very completely.
Ah, Juan, you are so wise.
Not so smart. Just knowing the ins and outs.
Tell your old buddy in crime and adventure, let me in on this party.
Of course, you're always invited to the party, as long as it's profitable, and it's always profitable.
Yes, always profitable, and there are always more suckers.
Yes, plenty of fish in the sea. You find the right bait, and viola.
Yes, voila is right.
Carly, honey,
Carly approaches the table. Yes, Juan?
I need a replenishment. It's a hot day. I need to cool down.
Yeah, I know what you mean. We all need to cool down. So another margarita coming up. And she walks away. And of course, she's being stared at. Yes, a delicious cool down. Come. Tell your old friend.
One of the 5 boroughs of New York City.
Yes?
The sleepy one, where not much happens.
Yeah, off the beaten track. A hideaway of small stores, trees, green grass, and pretty gleaming flowers. A pastoral neverland of rolling hills like San Francisco, not New York.
A pastoral place where not much happens.
I do declare, Juan, you're becoming positively poetic in your old age.
I'm not quite there.
No, not quite.
Oh, well.
But approaching.
Oh, well.
Well, I guess we all get sidewacked.
Yeah, I guess so.
Uh-huh. Well, go on. Tell me about this island paradise.
On an island paradise, I found a mark for us.
Yes, the old hound dog. He's always sniffing it out and finding that last bone, and then another.
You're right. I know every twist and turn. Even the obscure cannot hide from one.
Oh, it is good. It's good to play games. Let the game commence.
Life can certainly be wonderfully delicious.
Yes. Actually, it's your line. Down here.
I've worked up a thirst.
Yeah, me too.
Carly, where's our pretty waitress?
Carly appears out of nowhere. Ooh, loveliness, you naughty boy. Yes. Carly's line. Believe it. Now, gentlemen, another round? You haven't finished this one.
I'm thirsty.
I see. Okay, another round. Off for another round, and she swivels out the door. And as Carly leaves, Tex restarts the conversation. So?
Staten Island. Adventures in Hicksville.
We hope.
Yes.
It's still New York City.
Great metropolis, and there are still marks in the metropolis. In the great metropolis.
Yes.
Excuse me.
There are marks everywhere.
You sound as you don't trust my special talents.
How could I doubt you, Maestro?
How indeed. How indeed.
Let us continue.
I made a phone call.
Yeah, the phone call. You have won the world. This is all
Yes.
you. It's all you there. Yes.
Yes. Tonight, and you finish with Sweet Carly.
After you finish. Yeah, okay. You want a little dessert yourself.
Why not? You told me, what a delight. A souffle of delight. So you said.
Yes, I did.
She won't mind. We all pals. And she'll be nice and warm.
Yes. Ready to be served, Maestro.
Good. Say about midnight, your place?
Yes.
You'll have finished?
Yes.
And then my turn for a little joy.
Yes. A little joy.
That settles. To margaritas and sweet souffle, Carly.
Margarita. Oh, that's your line.
Margaritas and sweet souffle. That's enough for two.
Definitely. And now, back to the phone call. Okay.
Uh-oh.
That's where we run out. Yeah. We will have to go back and forth on that.
Yes.
So you say?
Yes, I thought I was going to lose him. The usual pay
It's
a little and you will be rich wasn't taking.
pity. It's always comforting. It's not easy. He doesn't fall for the usual line. So anyway, if that wasn't clear, folks, pity. It's always so comforting when it's easy.
Of course, but at last, it isn't always easy. Sometimes you have to use a little imagination.
I know. Games and more games. Life can be fun.
It's a joyful moment. Taking one for a ride is always filled with tantalizing possibilities, isn't it?
Now, it's, yes, very much so. So he didn't fall for the claim ticket or shipping fee?
I'm sure we will.
Okay, there's it.
Oh no, he
Didn't
was
fall for the
suspicious.
shipping fee. He said that's okay, right?
No, he was suspicious and aware of such possible expenses. My saying you've just won the sweepstakes to publish a clearinghouse wasn't enough. It wasn't enough when I stated that with the payment of a few dollars to receive a prize for $370,000 was worth it. He protested. I have no money. It is impossible. So he says, and then he said, you have my address. Just deliver it. Oh, I've worked up a thirst.
Oh, me too. I hope we can walk out of here, over a straight line, steady.
I'm sure we will.
Yes. Well, I'll I'm meeting Carly later for fun and games.
Take a cold shower. You're always ready to go, Tex.
Yeah, yes, I am. Yes, I am, and that's what I like, confidence.
That's what I like, confidence. And besides, you're going to warm her up for me, right?
Right. Warm and wet.
How considerate of
And
you.
she'll be waiting for you.
How considerate of you.
Nothing to it. Share and share alike, right? Oh, Carly comes in. Right, Carly, that's your line. Carly appears seemingly out of nowhere. Another round, gentlemen?
Yes, Tex and I will have another round.
Okay. See you soon. With a deliberate swivel in hips, Carly exits. Do you, oh, that's your line?
Do you suppose Carly expects a good tip?
A woman like Carly always expects a good tip. That's the way it is. That's how she gets through the day.
Smart girl.
Yes, nice to have around.
Yes. Right.
Charlie with another sneaky smile. Another round.
Right, we're gonna have to give them a to be continued. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
gotta
see
have
none of my
another-
cues there. You understand? what
Yeah,
I'm
I
saying?
know. It's getting a little crazy, but you can see they're setting up a con game with a guy in Staten Island, and there's a little twist and turn between Juan and Tex that has a sort of sneaky end, where
Right.
they sort of, the one-upsmanship takes a definite turn by the end of the tale. And, but the whole thing is about a con, setting up a con,
Right.
and who is going to be in control,
Right.
Juan or Tex? Yes, you have to stay tuned for the,
Right,
we're
right.
about the middle of the story, about the middle.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So
I'm sorry.
that
for
was a
what-
teaser. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, a teaser.
And I don't have no cues, so I didn't really
Yeah,
know.
I know.
My next part is coming up.
We have
but
to. I should have gotten another copy at the library, maybe.
right.
But we tried to get a copy here, and well, it didn't.
They
work
did their
out.
best. So, where could they find you at, contact you, get in touch with you?
Oh,
that
good
type of
question.
stuff, right.
Alexander Duncan, 467 at yahoo.com.
Right.
I suppose I could call my telephone too. Why not? 917-809-0536.
Oh, you sure about that?
Oh, that one I'm not as sure
Right.
about.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I mean the phone calls when they start coming in.
Oh, yeah?
Right.
Oh, so I may have made a mistake, huh?
Right. You might.
Well, he's going to, if I made a mistake, this fellow right here, he's going to soothe me.
Right.
with melodic music. So.
Right. Right. And you know that's the movement that we got coming right now, and
Yeah, Storyteller Limited. The genesis of all art is the story, and it begins in the community and people's strife through life. And you can even start with an improv, whether it's theater or literature or music. You can start,
right.
you know, the bare bones are simple. The intricacy of expressing it. I mean, Hemingway expresses his stories far differently than Williams, Tennessee Williams. So, but it's still the same genesis. They're starting with a story with a beginning where people want certain things, or they've been set on an obstacle track and they want to get past it. The genesis is always the same. The expression, the style, can be very different.
Right.
But we want to experiment. with
Right.
that, and you could start
And
right
then
at
we
the
wanna
beginning
keep
with
them-
people who don't necessarily have a lot of experience with this.
Right, but you got to keep them engaged and you got to keep them involved in it. So this was like a test run, just a test for them. But
Yeah, we got to come back to this because I
Right.
got to get your copy because this actually is an interesting tale with three interesting people. They don't,
Right.
and,
very
you know,
interesting. We got somebody to play the Carly part. You've been active in your neighborhood. So is there anybody you want to shout out, like the bakery and your friends? People that
yeah,
you know?
I've been writing little poems for
Okay.
Elvira's Italian Bakery Cafe.
Okay.
So now she gets a little blurb. Yes, it's a wonderful place, and she will greet you, and you will engage with the people around you, and all the wonderful pastry, which the pastry is wonderful. I think she probably makes the best. The word escapes me.
They got vegan,
Bagels.
right?
She
But do
makes
they got
excellent
vegan over there?
bagels.
Do they have vegan food there?
Oh, that I'm not sure of.
Oh, okay. So,
Yeah, but they got all kinds of pastry. Yeah.
so we're gonna get to the ambassador now over here. You know. Right, right, and we have to talk about. You said work?
Work.
I called it movement.
Well, what I was telling you really wasn't just about the music.
Right,
That's
right.
what's going on.
Right,
In a
right.
sense, I meant work meaning just regular
Right.
work minus music business. Meaning, you know, what everybody got to do to make ends meet.
Okay.
So when I was saying work earlier, I initially really was meaning that. You know what I'm saying? Meaning just regular work minus music business.
Right,
'Cause
but
yeah,
just
but in terms of
to-
music business, we could get into it. But just when you said work, it was really that.
I,
But in
I
terms
love the word for the generations under us. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like to motivate them, and you have to get out there and get something if you want something. You understand what I'm saying? So you have to put some work in there, reach your goals and dreams, basically.
yeah, but to be specific, we have the music business.
Right.
So the work that pertains to the music business, and then we have work, meaning just to get by, just
Right.
to survive like anybody else.
Right.
So it's really a whole lot of that more than music business, because to really stay in reality, you see, I'm a real person, you know.
Right.
So I deal with reality, you know.
Right.
In real time, in reality right now, music business is not paying nobody's bills. And
Right.
it's really at the worst state ever. But you know, on previous episodes, as well as off camera, off record, me and you are
Right.
reasoning about what I've been working on for
Right.
some time now regarding the motherland, Mama Africa.
Right.
Because as you see me, I'm a Rasta man, I'm Rastafari, and that's not just some gimmick thing or whatever. This is dealing with black people culture, black people reality. You know what I mean? So I born the way I am, so I only can see from what I am. And my experience shows me and reminds me of who I am. So it's not a plain field for everyone, you know.
Right.
So I talking from my people's standpoint as a Rastafari and also as a melanated, aka black person,
Right.
you know. So, you know, working just to make ends meet, so-called, like anybody else,
Right.
doing our jobs. Most of your artists out there is no different, you know. They still gotta make ends meet. When it comes to making money, all right, I'd rather say when it comes to pocketing money, because you make money, but making money for who? There's a lot of specifics. When people talk about music business, generally speaking, there's a lot of things that if you don't know, you don't really get it.
But do you think it's a psychological thing that they do to artists now with the streaming and all of that stuff, which is basically things that you can't see, no physicalities to it. It's just like a fairy tale, basically, you know, in
Well,
comparison to vinyl and hard copies of your projects.
I understand where you're coming from, but there's so much levels in this thing that if you're dealing with reality, then you wouldn't be fooled by the thing, whether before streaming or
Right.
since streaming.
Same.
Regardless, it's always been a fairy tale, you know, element to this
Right.
thing here that as long as you end that, then you're gonna always be fooled by one thing or the other, because the reality is this: as a recording artist, the only time you really see money is not really from your recordings. When I say see money, I mean money that goes into your pocket.
Right.
because you're making money like somebody who's working a 9 to 5 so-called. They're making money for their employer.
Okay.
The matter, all right, for instance, I always using this analogy of a retail person. Let's say you're a sales cashier. You're ringing up. You know how much people you probably rang up or sales? Let's say one day you made $1,000, but that's not your $1,000 in your pocket, but you made $1,000 for
Right.
the company.
Right.
You made $1,000 for Macy's. You made whatever money, even if it's illegal street hustling.
Right.
Unless you're the plug or the big entree, there's levels in it. Most of the people that get caught are people that's working for whoever they get the product from. So regardless, you're making money for the bigger boss.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And they give you the cut from that.
What they want to give you.
Exactly. So now let's translate this to music business. We can break it before. All right, just to keep in this in, reality perspective. The physical formats, and when we say physical formats, we mean cassette. We mean, well, in order, we mean vinyl, cassette, CD, otherwise known as compact disc. The physical formats never expired. They never disappeared. They never left the market.
Right.
Some people may think they just disappeared. They never actually disappeared. And they're actually picking up little by little, but they never disappeared from the scene. It's just that mainstream is just highlighting just the DSPs. DSPs meaning digital streaming platforms, which is only barely 20 years old. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, there's a lot of things you have to look at, though. This kind of subject matter is not just, you could go on and on about it. And I'm not trying to make it be too long of a thing, though, but you see, I'm not just a recording artist, I'm a business executive. So
Okay.
most recording artists, they have no idea of the business side of things, you know?
Right.
So it kind of gets complex, but the reality is this. You, as an artist, you're making Spotify way more money than what you're making.
Right.
You're making YouTube way more money than what you're making. If you want to use the word making, but really, you're making money for them because remember, we don't own Google, we don't own Spotify, we don't own none of these platforms. So really, you're making them money and then they give you a cut of that money.
What they want to give you.
So they're making way, the term is content nowadays.
Right. Right.
They're making way more, all right, in simple layman's term for everybody, doesn't matter what digital platform you're using, they're making way more money from your content than you're seeing.
Right.
But they're not going to report the money that they're making from it.
Right.
They're only showing you your cut. So you get 100% of your cut.
Right.
That sounds like, it's just the way they sell it to the people, you know, because there's no such thing as independent, really, if you're still dependent on a system that you didn't create and you don't even set the rules for.
Right.
Now, just to let people know, when you're signed to a major label and you're doing physical formats, because like I said, that never disappeared. And from back in the day till now, an artist put out an album on physical format through a major system, they're lucky to see more than $1 from every copy sold. So when you hear an artist going gold or platinum, for those who don't understand, going gold is when you sell 500,000, we're talking physical copies,
Right.
500,000 physical copies, right? Double that, that's 1 million, that's what you call platinum.
Okay.
2 million
Diamond.
copies, that's double platinum. Once you reach 10 million copies, that's considered diamond.
Right.
Right, so you have gold, you have platinum layers of that, which is millions until you get to 10 million, and that's considered diamond
Right.
in terms of sales. But you, the artist, you're not seeing the monies from that. I mean, if you want to calculate and really think about how much each copy is being sold per unit, and then how much units is being sold, and in your head you may be thinking, oh, this artist went gold, this artist went platinum, this artist went diamond, da 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 da. You thinking,
They
they
sell for
made
that.
that money, but who's pocketing that money? You know what I'm saying? It's just like if you get $1 million right now, you report that to the government, that's not $1 million you're gonna see eventually. That's half of that, barely. You know what I mean?
Right, like
Whether
when
it's
people
so-called
win the
percent-
lottery and
Yeah.
stuff, and they say it's $1 billion prize. They don't get that $1 billion prize in the lottery. Right.
So it's no different than a record deal or anything else you're talking about. Until we actually own the system completely, because really the music industry, as we know it, began with Columbia Records, and in terms of the people,
Right.
to my knowledge, it's Italians and who are known as Jews.
Okay.
And then down the line, some Asians, specifically Japanese, which is Sony, and some Chinese.
Chin family.
Because even VP Records, that's Chinese Jamaican,
Right.
meaning Chinese people that moved to Jamaica had their children, and those children started what eventually became known as VP Records, which is still underneath Warner Brothers.
Right.
The top three, this is the music industry. Warner, Universal, and Sony. Warner, Universal, and Sony. And who are the stockholders in that? That's none of these artists. So even if you want to talk about DSPs, digital streaming platforms, the Spotify's, this, that, and the third, they're the same ones behind all of that.
Right.
You know, people have to understand, you know, there's no way that something's going to be going on that's going to be making people all this money, and they're not capitalizing off of that. You know what I mean? So artists always, since back in the days till now, has to depend on live show performances to
That's
get
why you
actual straight money. Like
see them
thousands
out
of
there.
dollars one time that you actually pocket in and you don't owe back.
That's why you see them on the road so much, and they're always on the road.
Well, in reality, it's more, you don't, in reality, right now, a lot of artists are struggling to get bookings as compared to a few years ago.
Right, and then a lot of people
It's
are not
rougher
buying the
right now.
tickets to go to these concerts and these shows, you know what I'm saying, because of everything that's going on in the world, you know.
Yeah. Ticket sales, shows are not selling like one time, you know. There's a lot of politics involved in it, because even cost of tickets have gone up in many cases. There's a lot of issues to go into it specifically, you could go on and on, but it's just to say that making livable income for music business was always a great challenge for recording artists.
Okay.
And I'll say recording artists also, all right. As a recording artist is someone who goes into a studio and records the record, which is the recording. Live show performances, that means you're a show performer, you're a performer, you're a
Right.
stage performer.
Right.
Like if on my resume I put that I'm a recording artist as well as a stage performer,
Right.
as well as a label executive, but I'm not going into that. I'm talking about as quote unquote artist. I'm a label executive, but take that out of the equation right now. Talking for artists.
Right. But as a recording artist, you should be prepared to do a live show performance.
But that's the thing. You have no control over that because, all right, for someone to pay you, you have to understand, you know, people have to go book you and want to pay you money, and then people want to come out and pay money to see you and all that stuff. You have a lot of artists that's doing high numbers in streams,
Right.
but the ticket sales, they're not reaching to where they expect. For instance, do you have that artist? I think her name is Glorilla. I don't know if I'm pronouncing the name correctly. She's one of those new drill.
Glorilla.
You know what I'm talking about, right? She very, very popular. I'm just talking from a business standpoint,
But
right?
what a name. You understand what I'm
I'm
saying?
not even going into all of that. It's
Right,
pertaining
right,
to what's relevant to what the point I'm making.
Right.
Very popular, right?
Right.
She gets a whole lot of views, numbers, everything like that, though. But they had to cancel her shows last calendar year, the calendar year that just ended, 24, because it didn't reach certain levels of ticket sales in
Ticket
time
sales.
for them to say, let's continue doing the show, because they didn't see that it wasn't going to be a success.
And that's
So-
very important.
So that's happening with current artists. You understand?
Right.
It's even worse for older artists. Whether you're known, whether you're not known, or whatever levels of known as a brand, whether you're whatever genre, when it comes to getting bookings for live show where people's gonna pay you money up front, because that's the thing, you know, there's different situations, you know. The ideal thing is when somebody offers you money for a show and they send in half of that up front as a deposit. So
Right.
let's say, you know, 30 grand, so they're gonna send you 15 up front, and then you get the next 15 before you perform. That's typically how show business go in terms of live show performance business. But if that's not going on, where's the money coming from as an artist? And I'm telling you, is 2022, 2023, 2024, and right now 2025, a lot of shows are not happening for a lot of artists, especially artists that is actually doing music that has a message.
Right.
It's always worse for them. It's meaning more of a challenge. So you have a lot of, man. I tell you, you have a reggae artist named Sister Carol, who's very popular from way back in the day. And I remember she made a statement on Facebook last calendar year, 2024, saying for the reggae artists, speaking for the reggae artists, them that's in New York City, because they have a whole lot of reggae artists in New York City. And I'm talking from the levels of people that's very well known from back in the day. All of them, most of them from back in the day, meaning 1990s, 1980s, 1970s. But they
Right.
live right here in the five boroughs, especially Brooklyn and Queens and Bronx.
Right.
So, you know, and she's saying a lot of them is not getting bookings for shows again. You know, if you really take a look around, I mean, you can remember back in the day, like early 2000s or, you know, even before that, you may have seen a lot of shows being booked. But in real time, for the last years, no, you don't see a lot of shows again being booked for certain type of artists. And even overall, you don't see a lot of shows being booked in
It used to
reality.
be non-stop, especially for
Exactly.
some place like Madison Square Garden. They would give you like they schedule for the whole year. And I don't think they can provide that no more because they don't have as many concerts as they used to.
Now you see Madison Square Garden, you mentioned Madison Square Garden. Madison Square Garden, when it comes to New York City, there's levels of these venues. Madison Square Garden is, I'll say, is one of the highest levels of venues. So if that's the case with a high level venue like that, then imagine other venues that's, because to get into Madison Square Garden, you have to be connected to certain entities. A lot of artists can't even get into Madison Square Garden to begin with.
Right.
But the venues in New York City, I could tell you, yeah, like for instance, you have SOBs, you have Webster Hall, you have Irving Plaza.
BB King.
I don't know if BB King is still around though, but BB King would have been considered on that level.
Right.
Most artists, especially if you're independent, that's the level of venue they will get into. So if there's issues going on with even major venues like a Madison Square Garden, imagine how much rougher it is
Right.
for the SOBs and such and such. So I'm telling you, an artist making livable income that goes into their pocket has always been from live show performances. So when that is not popping, then what money are they making from music business? And they still have to live like anybody else, and they still have people depending on them like anybody else. So they have to go into things that's not even related to music business. Even if you notice it, the artists, them that you see in the limelight a lot still, consistently, they're not even selling you music, but they're using their music brand to sell other product and businesses.
Right.
You know what I mean? I've been watching Master P a lot recently and other people like that. If you study all of them, you know, it's not from music. Even someone
Right,
like
that's why
Jay-Z,
they
it's
want
not
the
really from music
catalogs.
to make an income.
Right.
No, the music does make a lot of money. Yes. That's why I separating making money from pocketing money. You know what I mean? Like the person who made $1,000 that day for Macy's, but that's not $1,000 going into their pocket, you know?
Right.
So that's the same case with anything set up that we didn't really set up.
And then
So-
the catalogs, you know what I'm saying, is very important because if you don't own your catalog, somebody could capitalize off of your music also.
But that's the thing. Nowadays, everything digital. So then, once you send your music, even that's something I thought about, I've talked about before. Like, when you send in your music digitally to any place, like I've taken music down, but that's really just in statement. They still have the files.
Right.
It's just that they're not going to publish the files.
Right.
It's a different case than when you send in 1,000 physical copies to a store and then you're saying discontinue it. So whatever they made minus that, then you're supposed to be getting that because it's physical.
Right.
When it's digital, once you send that out there, that's it. It's out there.
Right.
It's out there. So you just hope nobody does anything illegal, but that's depending on whatever you get knowledge of.
Okay.
Because just like back in the day, you remember people bootlegging people's music on CD.
That was big business. Right.
That was big business, but the only way a person would know is if they found out. So
Right.
even when Tupac went to Harlem and went through the streets, you know, looking for anybody selling any, but you can never really get rid of it completely because globally people bootlegging. So I'm saying it's even more easier to do that sort of thing, meaning to distribute people's music without a proper authority and even make business from it is way easier now.
Right. So they empowered thieves, basically.
Yeah, and then still the system itself is a thief, is the thief of all thieves because, like I say, whether it's the digital distributors like DistroKid or TuneCore or CD Baby or whether it's the actual platforms people are playing from like Spotify, YouTube, everything else. Bro, it's the same people buying the whole thing, you know?
Okay.
Yeah, that's reality, you know?
Right. So I'm glad we clarified that up. We also have some music for them. You know what I'm saying? Do you want to get to the music and then
How
come
much
back?
minutes we have?
We down to 20 right now.
20?
Yeah.
Well, I do want to prelude a little bit more talking.
Okay.
Because that's just highlighting that music business doesn't really make, you know.
Right. And Alex, you sitting here, you know what I'm saying? But this also applies to like the theater, what you do also, because they took a hard hit also. They don't sell as many theater tickets. People are not going to see those
It's got
Broadway shows.
horrendously expensive.
Right.
Yeah. I went to see a show once in a long time ago on Broadway. Cost me $3. I was sitting in the balcony, but it's gotten, well, a lot of it is different unions in the theater business, they want to take a cut, and putting on the show's gotten more expensive and more expensive, and then the producers have become more, understandably so. I don't blame them.
Right.
They
And this is
become more
all
and more,
entertainment, where people need entertainment.
cautious.
Right.
And so they sort of think, oh, what is going to appeal to somebody who comes in here from Dubuque? I'm not picking on Dubuque, just picking it out of the air. But so they're not adventurous. And when you're not adventurous in the arts, it's
Right.
bad news. It's bad news.
Right, but what Qaduse was just saying relates to it, because if they don't see no profit coming out of it, you know what I'm saying, why would they want to invest their money into something that they're not going to see?
Yeah, it's
Right.
and so this goes in a circle, round and round and round. And maybe some people will come and see shows, but they're recycled shows that were done some time ago, lots of revivals. They'll pick up something from England because it's prestige.
Right.
You know, I don't know how someone like Tennessee Williams would be produced today on Broadway.
Right.
Might be produced, but not on Broadway.
Right.
And
None of those
it'd be
people
very
would
difficult.
exist right now.
I mean, there are no hard and fast rules about this, so there may be an exception to what I'm saying, but it's become very, very, very difficult.
Right, and that's what Qaduse was saying. So back to you, Qaduse.
But as I was saying that we're working on solutions, you know,
Okay,
because
great.
something that I've been talking about on this show, you know, from the previous episodes I did, you know, in terms of the actual last episodes I did since from the past year, you know, I was here within the last few months as well.
Right.
So there's always an update on it though, but in terms of the business side of things, right, we have Karasta Music Records, as you know, the label, right? But then we also have physical formats music distribution corporation that we're setting up in Uganda, East Africa, right, called Afayaka Music Arts Distribution, otherwise known as AMAD, AMAD, which will be a distributor for physical formats. Physical formats, again, means cassette tapes, compact discs, and vinyl, right?
Okay.
So we already started making a few copies over there. We have partners in Africa, Uganda specifically, as well as in Gambia and other places, you know.
Right.
We have some strong contacts. On that note, big up DJ King Shango in Uganda, you know, and we're working with lawyers, you know, big up Matala. Big up Fallara Sound, producer of the label, you know. So it's two companies to be exact, because when it comes to the music business, it's black people music that makes the music industry the most money, you know. They call it urban music, from what I understand, meaning what's known as quote-unquote rap or hip-hop, as well as the subgenres of trap and drill, as well as rhythm and blues, otherwise known as R&B, as well as everything else.
Right.
Because black people music, so-called black people music is what makes the industry a lot of money. See, there's so much facts in my head that I'm trying to make sure I put it in a timely fashion, but because I know a lot of people don't know certain things. The music industry, from recordings, from actual recordings, they make, I mean Warner, Universal, and Sony, they make over $17 billion yearly.
Right.
From
And that's
artist recordings.
rising. It's getting higher and higher.
Yeah, but for the past few years, it's been around that ballpark, you know. By the time they reach halfway through the year, it's like 8 billion already. So that's what I'm saying about 17 billion. This is something I've been watching,
For
especially.
somebody looking at this, it would make more sense to be a music executive or up there. You'll make more money than the artist who's putting in the most work, basically.
See, the angle I'm coming from is this, you know. Again, this music industry was started by Italians and Jews, and then down the line, Asians. There is no such thing as a black-owned major distributor. Warner, Universal, Sony, it's not black people up there.
Right.
You understand? So what I'm doing is something that's about having specifically African people, and African people meaning Africa, the continent, the motherland, as well as the diaspora, meaning the descendants of Africans. Because we have to represent for our people, you know, because it's our people that keep suffering. If you take away black people music from the music world, what music do you have? Because even what they consider pop, you know what I mean? Just take away that, what do you have? So why is it like that? We know it's the same slave system. You know, rest in peace, rise in power to the artist that was known as Prince. You remember before they killed Prince, he walked around with a word on his face that said SLAVE, slave. You know what I'm saying? And then from the early 1990s, the music industry has heavy investment in the prison industry. And it's the same music industry that created what they call gangster rap, which now spawns into what they call drill and trap. Drill specifically is more about killing. Trap specifically is referring to the drug rap.
Right.
So the kill rap and the drug rap. And you know, it's the nigga killing nigga business, you know, the same situation. This thing is very extensive. That's why I say, I'm speaking for my people, you know, because our people been through something that's still going on. And they don't call it Holocaust in the mainstream, but it's a Holocaust.
Right.
Because when I say, and I'm tired of hearing nigga shooting nigga, it's real. Because you have Jewish executives and Italian executives that decide in these boardrooms what's to be put out there. And that's why certain type of music gets put out there.
There's agenda.
Yeah, they made hip-hop. When I started doing hip-hop in 1988, 89, you had artists like KRS-One. You had artists like Public Enemy. You know what I mean? You listen to them catalog of music and know what hip-hop is dealing with. You know, and they celebrated Martin Luther King, yes, it was, 2 days ago?
Monday.
Yeah, but we don't celebrate Marcus Messiah Garvey, and we don't celebrate Omar Wally, otherwise known as Malcolm X. Right? So it's these things that we stay cognizant always of, you know? So that's that. But we can go into the music, though. But hold on, before we go into the music, just to be clear, y'all just look towards, you know, what we're doing in Africa.
Right.
Because it's to separate from this system of music. You understand? Because it's really the same slave system in conclusion, you know.
Okay.
And that's just the reality.
Right.
The facts is there, it's just the reality. So I'm not trying to move up in no way in this system over here. You know? And that's just the reality. You know what I mean?
All right. Hey.
You know, so just look towards what we're doing in the motherland, you know? Y'all find us on social media, you can follow us on the social media.
Right. Give 'em.
You know what I mean? The Karasta Music Records. I mean, y'all just type my name on Google and you'll find everything easy, because it may get complicated to people to remember these things. But Qaduse. 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 That's the name. And Karasta, Karasta. Y'all just put in them search words, you know, things will come up, because to go into the spellings of things, it may sound complicated right now. Yeah.
Right.
But we could go into the first track.
Ash, you ready for us?
You could play the one that's called Cussing.
So while he get that ready, you know.
Yeah, so we have 10 minutes. You can play it from the beginning, please.
Start it from the top.
And a little more volume on it, please. From the top, please. And a little bit more volume, please.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, Nick. Rastafari. Like water flow. Like water. Like water flow. Like water. Hook up flow like water. I'm in this Qaduse. Hook up flow like water. Follow our sound. Hook up flow like water. Karasta Music Records, music for the soul. Hook up flow like water, so precise. Real explosive, I'm dynamite on mic. Friendly competition, turn to deadly fights. Only when the real ain't revealed to their sight. I bring life on the mic when I recite words of wisdom through my windpipe, producing light. Sending lyrics to your spirits like electricity. 10,000 megavolts of pure energy. It's a new era, so we take measure. and correct any error that was ever made. And masquerade that is being played on the airwaves, on the ears of the babes. From these singers and rappers, actors and actresses. Pawn pieces with this test game with slaves of the team on his made. I'm taking aim when I'm tapping brains with factual words that get on your nerves over instrumental. The physical disease just because it's limited. Get knowledge increase cause there ain't no end to it. Harass the music records, I'm the label executive. Associated with a my distribution incorporated. Hook up flow like water, so precise. Still explosive, I'm dynamite on mics. Friendly competitions turn to deadly fights. Only when the real ain't revealed to their sights. Yeah. That's one called, I don't know, I'm thinking I call that like water.
Right.
You know, like water, you know?
Right.
Yeah. What we have, 8 minutes?
Right, that was exclusive. What's the next track? You ready for the next one?
Next one, give it a minute break.
All right.
Yeah.
Take a little minute break.
Yeah, you know, going from talking to singing is a transition.
But that was some fire right there. I was not even expecting that right there. You know what I'm saying? This is why he's one of our ambassadors over here, because the music is just not that same run around the mill, everybody sound the same. Okay, it's always a new sound, a new vibration coming this way.
Yeah, this is all unreleased material too.
Okay.
Unreleased only means it's brand new to the public that's hearing it.
Right.
Because I'm an artist that I have music inside of me all the time. For some songs I be recording, it was in my head from decade previous. And then some of these was recorded. So I have music unreleased that's both recorded as well as never recorded.
Right.
Music is always in me. That's why I always can perform any song, you know, anytime, you know. But there's a lot of more songs that I've never recorded than recorded, and then I still have recorded songs that never released, and then I have songs that were released that I took down.
Right.
You know what I mean? So this is a case of that. It's brand new to the public.
Right.
But if I even tell you how far ago these songs are. But you know, I think I'm gonna do an acapella right now though.
Okay.
Yeah, because every day I get up, I look into the news and I'm seeing somebody getting stab up. Okay. Every day stabbings, you know. Every day stabbings. And you know, I learned that in New York City, the gun laws have gotten stricter through the years. So I'm realizing the increase of stabbings is because some of those stabbings probably would have been gunshot. You know what I mean?
That too.
So you see the violence? All right. I'm going to give you something regarding that now.
Okay.
Yeah. Because this is a message to the youths, but it's a message to everyone still, you know? Yeah. Every day is a gunshot, and another one get dropped. We no want no more of that. Love your brother and your sister, yeah. The violence needs to stop, cause as the guns go off and bodies drop, every day is a gunshot. The violence needs to stop as the guns go off and bodies drop, every day is a gunshot. The violence needs to stop, too much war and crime, too much death happening in these hard times. Pull that up. Every day is a gunshot. You know, when you're going from talking to singing is a different thing, you know, honestly. Because usually when we both record, or before I go on stage, I'm not talking and then just going right into singing, you know. So you have to understand. Hey, but we're both going to it real. It's a different spirit, you know. Yes, sir. Yeah. Every day is a gunshot, especially with reggae. And another one get dropped. Every day is a gunshot. And another one get dropped. We no want no more of that. Hey, love your brother and your sister. Yeah, the violence needs to stop. Cause as the guns go off and bodies drop, every day is a gunshot. The violence needs to stop, cause as the guns go off and bodies drop, every day is a gunshot. The violence needs to stop, cause as the guns go off and bodies drop, every day is a gunshot. The violence won't cease as the guns go off and Every day is a gunshot. The violence needs to stop. Too much war and crime. Too much death happening in these hot times. Cold-blooded murder. Some minds need to get refined. Check yourself. Stop killing off your own kind. Not saying that if you're black, then you should kill white. Another black person, cause that ain't right. Prejudice don't stop escalating and booming. My opinion's that we of one race called human. Check the color of your blood, we all bleed the same. Due to one skin color, a man is left slain. And what deal with these gangs running on rampage? Not only are those is also those of young age. Talk about 10-year-old kids who are quick to take your life, yeah, and think nothing of it. You got something that they want and they will stick you up. Man, we're living in the last days, it's all messed up. And what about the love? Love don't exist anymore. I guess it didn't pay the rent and got thrown through the door. We gotta get to the core, you know the root of it all. If we don't rise up as one, then as one we will fall. And I know the reason of it all is called ignorance, cause we're ignorance dwells also find nonsense, and nonsense leads to senseless violence, and nonsense leads to senseless violence. The violence needs to stop, cause as the guns go off and bodies drop, every day is a gunshot. Yeah, you can run the next rhythm. Please.
It's coming.
Whoa, yeah, yeah, yeah. Whoa, yeah, yeah. Give us back our gold. And look more volume, please, on the rhythm, please. Yeah, me now. Big bad wolf. Know that you're not that tough. I go call your bluff. Hey, I see you off and puff. Still I know that you cannot touch us. Cause Negos, Rastafari in us. Big bad wolf. Know that you're not to be trust. Return the stuff that you stole from us. And since you don't, then your time is up. Cause Negos, Rastafari in us. I see ravening wolves and leopards came running in. Some Russian roulette cause bomb rushing. They wanted Uganda, yet the Zionists couldn't accomplish the propaganda. Couldn't set up the Jewish territory in East Africa. So the Jew go argue with the Arab over Palestine. Jew go look on Arab and say Arab, the damn girl is mine. But the Jew and Arab them Arab by same time. Big bad wolf, know that you're not that tough. I go call your bluff. Hey, I see you off and puff. Still I know that you cannot touch us. Cause Negos, Rastafari in us. Big bad wolf, know that you're not to be trust. Return the stuff that you stole from us. And since you don't, then your time is up. Cause Negos, Rastafari in us. Hey, world trade slave on the world stage. World trade slave of the black race. Arabian slave trade with European slave trade in the marketplace. On the auction block where the deal took place. Down on Wall Street where the crime pays. Alibaba with his 40 thieves, they came at night and a rabbi. Big bad wolf, know that you're not that tough. I go call your bluff. Hey, I see you off and puff. Still I know that you cannot touch us. Cause Negos, Rastafari in us. Big bad wolf, know that you're not to be trust. Return the stuff that you stole from us. And since you don't, then your time is up. Cause Negos, Rastafari in us. Hey, Rastafari in us. Yeah, Rastafari in us. Rasta Music Records. Music for the soul. Jah Dreddz. Live that S-I-N-Y. Don't know, brother.
Yes.
Mr. Anthony.